Welcome back to the Daily Wrap, and it's time for Yay or Nay. First up, GOP hopeful Jeb Bush made a speech in Tallahassee, Florida Monday, criticizing the influence of lobbyists. While that's all well and good, the former governor forgot to mention that his speech was organized by the, Florida Chamber of Commerce, of course, a very powerful private lobbying group that has also donated big bucks to the former governor's campaign. So does Jeb Bush really have no idea where his donations are coming from, or is he just another typical politician? Yay or nay? Rick, I heard you giggling over here.
Oh, I just think that's one of those senior moments that happens. He forgot where he was. That is kind of weird, though. I mean,
that is
why
funny.
would you pick the Chamber of Commerce set up to criticize
to roll out
lobbyists?
your anti-lobbying
I don't
agenda?
know.
Heather,
It's a difficult. I think that he probably just didn't realize that that's where he was speaking. But I think that it's a difficult argument to make, because even in Florida, after he argued that he had gotten rid of lobbyists, they just kind of backdoor themselves right back in. So I think it's a difficult
They always do.
agenda for him to take.
I don't think
Noah?
this is a very fair criticism. You do a lot of speaking as a presidential candidate. You don't know exactly who's sponsoring the speeches that you go to. Even when you're not a presidential candidate, you speak a lot. You don't know exactly what audiences you're speaking to. That gets you a bunch. What he proposed was a 6-year moratorium for lawmakers who leave office before they go back into K Street. I think that's perfectly fair, and it's actually, speaking against his own interest as an entrenched politician himself. So I think Jeb Bush deserves a little bit of credit.
But let's be a little realistic here. I mean, in Washington, D.C., you can't swing a cat without hitting a lobbyist who's advising Jeb Bush. I mean, give me a break. Texas State Representative Drew Springer wants to eliminate gun-free zones so that he can bring his gun to the hospital with him. In an interview with a local news station, Springer said that it doesn't make sense that he can bring his gun into the state capitol, but not to a hospital where he says robbers hide out in parking lots waiting to steal drugs. I had no idea this was an epidemic. Has the state representative never heard about the dangers of oxygen tanks, bullets, sick people in a hospital? Rick Unger, yay or nay?
I think what's amazing is he's not talking about the fact that he can bring guns to the state capitol. I mean, if I can bring guns to the state capitol, why shouldn't I be able to bring them to a hospital? What can you say about people like this?
And does he need it during surgery? I'm not really clear on this, Heather.
People who are fighting for the Second Amendment should focus on pick their battles, and this is not the battle that he wants to be picking to bring it into a hospital.
What are your thoughts, Noah?
I think the logic is impeccable. Why can't you bring your weapon into a hospital? I'm not even joking. Why can't you bring a weapon into a hospital if you can bring it into the state capitol where you're encountering lawmakers?
Well, here's an idea. Don't bring it into the state capitol.
We just had a really gruesome massacre in a gun-free zone. Gun-free zones are not necessarily something we should be defending.
You ever been a patient in the hospital?
Yeah.
I have, more than I like. And you know what? I really don't want somebody who I don't know bringing a gun into the
wants to bring a gun into a hospital, they're going to bring a gun into a hospital.
And what if you
belongings taken away?
Okay, what if you have a gangbanger who's in there in the emergency room? Should he bring his guns in there with him?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I support the Second Amendment.
If you're a target for assassination, if that's what you're talking about, a state's witness, you should probably have protection.
I support the Second
protection.
Amendment, of course, and I think people should be able to bring guns into these environments. It just seems a little bit strange in terms of a campaign. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee released a Vine video yesterday. Yes, the governor posts Vine videos featuring a scene from the beloved animated film The Lion King. Let's take a look. Rick, I am seeing morbid laughter over here.
Mike Huckabee
Did you laugh when Bambi's mother was killed?
No, but then if Mike Huckabee had been editing the movie, I might have, you know?
Comic timing was
I think that's a
spectacular.
yay. I think Rick loves it.
I do, but I think he is absolutely out of his mind.
I love it. It's like political Dadaism.
It's a great use of social media. The fact that he's using Vine videos in and of itself. But listen, we laughed. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. It should get an Emmy.
All right, guys.
All right.
I think we're out of time. Amy, thanks so much.
Thank you, Rick. A pleasure
And
to
guys,
join
we'll
you.
see you as week goes on. I am Rick Unger. On behalf of Amy Holmes and the rest of the panel, we do thank you for joining us tonight. You guys have been spirited tonight. I know I had fun. I hope you did too. Be sure to stay tuned because the Steve Malzberg Show is coming up next. You don't want to move the dial. Stick with us here on Newsmax TV.